Okay, so I had a question from somebody that didn't have a printer, and I think there might be other people in this situation. How do you do the lesson if you can't print out? If you need to graph, then you can just create your own graph, your own coordinate plane for every problem. So look at the sheet. You don't have to print it out. Write the two equations. So if your equation is y equals 2x plus 1, and then you have another equation that is y equals 1 half x, subtract 1, then you would just simply take each equation and you would create, well, this would be one problem because it's a system of equations. System has two equations. So you're going to need to create a graph. And you got to be pretty careful. You can't be sloppy on this. So create a graph where you draw two perpendicular lines. All right. Probably going up to 5, maybe 6 in both directions should be fine. When you go to create them perpendicular, this is going to be a little tricky. So you're going to need to do your best to make sure that it's perpendicular. You'll obviously have a ruler. I do not have a ruler. I have a yardstick because I'm dealing with this. So I'm just putting the edge of this yardstick on there and making sure it lines up with the line. That should make my line hopefully pretty perpendicular. You can also kind of just look at it and try to eyeball it if you want. So that's pretty perpendicular. Now I'm just going to finish that line off on the other side. Again, the better you do at this, the better your result will be. So if you try to take shortcuts and if you don't really do this carefully, there. I have two fairly perpendicular lines, pretty close. Now, in order to make the numbers, I need to kind of start at the middle and go out the same amount for each number. So for me, I'm going to use 1 inch. So I've put this line on 9 inches, and then just every inch I make a dot. So 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I don't have my glasses, but I should be close. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now I do the same thing going up and down. So again, I put it in the middle, somewhere on a number, exactly on a number. So I put it on 21. Now I just every inch I make a dash or a mark or something. Again, be careful when you create it. The first one will definitely be the hardest. So there we go. All right. Oh, I do want to check one thing on my problems real quick. So if that is, here I'm going to change this problem a little bit. So if that is 1, that'd be 3. I would need this to be 4, I think. So let's try that instead. All right, so now I just graphed them. -1, well, I'll start with +1. +1 is my intercept. I go up and over 2. So over 1, up 2. Again, just do it as close as you can. Now I connect those two lines. Again, if I wanted to come over 1, down 2, that would kind of help me get them straight, but I also have a ruler. So my ruler is unfortunately not perfectly flat. It apparently is bent over time. So that's pretty close there. I'm going to push this board over if I push too hard. There. That's a pretty decent job there. Now I start at -1. This one I have +4, so I go over 1, up 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it actually falls on that same spot. So that was pretty easy. So -1 is right there. So now I'm going to line those two up and connect those two. Kind of already have my answer as to where they cross because I just landed on the same point on the other line. but that's all right. So now I draw my line there. So there I have my two lines. They cross right there, which means if they cross, there is one solution and only one solution. Again, it did a pretty good job of drawing because it looks like that solution would be 1, 3. And if I plug in 1, 3, 1 times 2 is 2, plus 1 equals 3. So I get 1 and 3. If I plug in 1 here, I get 1 times 4 is 4. Subtract 1 is 3. So I get 1 and 3 here. That one solution works for both problems, which is exactly what should happen. Again, when you create this, just make sure you make them as close to perpendicular as you can, and make sure you make the space in between each number on both of the y and the x-axis. Make sure you make the space the same in between each number.